Hey guys, so today we're going to show you how to turn a tire into a subwoofer enclosure. The reasons why you want to do this is because you want to have a very stealth looking system, or you want to have a mild custom system that really blends in with the car, and you don't want to spend a ton of money. It is a decent amount of work to do this, but when we're done, you have a very seamless install when we're done with it. Now keep in mind, when you're going with this type of enclosure, you are going to lose your spare tire, because that's where this thing's going to go. But the whole idea behind it is we want to make it look part of the vehicle and have it just blend in and not have people really notice that you got a subwoofer in the vehicle, and you're going to maintain all your trunk space as well. Now to do this job properly, we're going to be using fiberglass and MDF to stiffen up the tire to give us the proper stiffness that we need. Now when you're working with fiberglass, you want to consider your ambient temperature and how fast you want this to cure. Mix it too much and it gets too hot and you can actually risk getting a fire. Mix it too cold and basically it's just not going to dry. Okay, so what's going on here is to get maximum base output, we have to stiffen up the enclosure as much as possible. So we got Patrick over here, and he's glassing the whole thing. So he's going to do the outside of, the outside of the diameter from the inside. He's going to do the sides as well to make this thing nice and stiff. Alright, so Patrick's laying on the second layer right now. You can see he's put on some duct tape on the outside of it so he doesn't get resin all over this, because we still need this thing to look pretty. So he's just going to go ahead and keep on glassing this thing. Now, before you hit this piece on the router, you always want to jig it out. You never want to router a really thick piece of wood, so we're going to jig this out so that when we hit the router table, there's not a whole lot of material we have to take off. Now we're not only just fiberglassing the inside of the spare tire, we're also going to be adding MDF to the outsides of it to stiffen it up a bit. So I've already gone ahead and jigged out a rough cut. Now we have to router out the insides to give us an opening for the subwoofer. Alright, so the next step is to make this nice and clean. We're going to router this on the router table. Dustin's going to go ahead and do that. Keep in mind, wear all your proper safety gear, your respirator, your protection, and your glasses. Alright, so we're ready to put our ring in. I want to show you guys before we actually resin this thing part of the actual enclosure. So Dusty's gone ahead and cut it and routed so it's nice and smooth, perfectly circular, and we've also taken a rabbit bit to it to have an inside edge, so this is going to fit nice and flush inside the bead of the tire as well. So you can see here we've got our back piece for the tire. Again, cut to the exact diameter of the inside of the tire, hit with the rabbit bit again so it's going to fit nicely on the inside bead of the tire. Okay, now remember those rings I showed you earlier? Now we have it nicely fit, it's all primed up, ready to go. It's actually pressure fitted in first, and now we're starting to resin it to the actual spare tire itself.
Now we're going to work on the other part of the tire. I want to make sure that I'm wearing my respirator and my gloves, because I want to be safe when I'm doing this.
Okay, here we are now. The enclosure is glassed up now. You can see that we've attached the back piece to the tire. Lots of fiberglass and resin between the tire and this other plate here to tie it all together. It's still pretty tacky. We're just going to let it now sit overnight before we can finish it off tomorrow. Okay, so we're finalizing our fiberglass enclosure. So what we've gone ahead and done is we're trying to tie the ring, the tire, and the inside fiberglass structure all together. So we've gone ahead and masked the whole front end and the inside of the ring so the sub still fits, because we don't want to build on material. And we don't want to make a big mess on the outside of the tire. So what we've gone ahead and done is there's matte and resin tying the whole structure together, giving us a nice solid structure. Okay, and here's the finished product. It's a little bit dirty, but you see the ring's been painted. Subs in. On the back. You got your wire coming out. Paint plate on the back is painted. And there's your enclosure.